Hey guys, this is part 2 of my food security video series. Now, I got called out pretty quickly on the fact that I didn't mention potatoes in my top 5. And I didn't mention beans, corn, squash, cabbage, kale, sweet potatoes. There's a lot of things I didn't mention in my top 5. And they all have their place. There are dozens and dozens, hundreds of vegetables that are important for your food security. Those didn't meet my top 5 for a lot of reasons, and I'm going to cover those as time goes on. So this is part 2. So understand, when you do a series, that means there's a sequel. Part 2. So the sequel is going to be part 2. Right now, I'm going to cover potatoes. Now, all right, guys. So now you're going to need a food grade bucket, 5 gallons. So this is a 5-gallon bucket, food grade. Some dirt. So what you're going to look for is right here. I hope that shows up on the camera. It's going to say HDPE number 2 with this little recycle triangle on it. And that indicates that it is a high density plastic something. It's a high density plastic, okay? These are food grade buckets. Now this didn't have food in it, okay? It had roof coating. But if you can avoid this, get yourself a bucket from a restaurant that has pickles in it or something along those lines, so you know it held food before. But the high density plastics don't absorb whatever was in them before. So you're not going to have cross contamination. You're not going to have a transfer of chemicals from a high density plastic. So I'm not going to have chemicals from the paint that was in here before, or whatever it was, sealer, transfer it into this, whatever I put in it next. Okay. I'm not terribly worried about it, but if that's something you're worried about, go to a restaurant, see if they have a bucket of pickles, mayonnaise, something that they have, get in 5-gallon containers, and get some buckets from them. They usually are throwing them out, so you can get them for free. Free is always awesome. Okay, so that is the next thing you need to do. Now you got to drill holes in this dude. Now I've drilled a few holes in this already, and I'm gonna grab my little drill right now, and I'm gonna do a few more. So you're gonna want about 3/8 to 1/2 inch bit, and I'm gonna drill these holes about 1.5 inches up. So 1.5 inches, you can guesstimate. It doesn't have to be 1.5 inches. It can be 2 inches. It's not a big deal. This is not rocket science. Just drill some holes along this bucket. Usually they'll put the labeling and the "don't let my kid drown in it" thing right here at about 1.5 inches to 2 inches. So you can kind of follow the labeling for that. And use that. So we've got a few holes. I've already drilled a few holes through here. So there's 1.5 inches up. And the reason I don't go in the bottom, most people will drill through the bottom. The reason I don't go through the bottom is because I forget to water. I do. I forget to water. So if I can leave a 1/2 inch of water or 1 inch of water in the bottom for those days I forget to water, my plants don't dry out and die. They don't suffer as bad. So that's what I do. If you think you're going to be excellent at watering every day and be Johnny on the spot, put it in the bottom. Do it right. Don't be lazy. Don't be forgetful. Be awesome and do it right every time. Drill the holes through the bottom. If you think you're going to be like me, put them in the side. Okay, so we've got our bucket. On to our next thing. Okay, so the next thing you're going to need is going to be a potato. So you want a potato that's chitted. Okay, these potatoes have been out down here in the cool room and they're kind of getting yucky looking. See, they're all wrinkly and kind of nasty. They're probably not the greatest for eating. I'm going to probably forego eating these, although I have in the past peeled them and made mashed potatoes. But that's about all you can do with these at this point. So I've got, oh goodness, Norgals, Nor or somethings. I've got these, and I've got this here Kennewick. That one doesn't look too bad. And the Kennewicks did really good for me. They were beautiful potatoes last year. Oh, here we go. This is a little Russian. This ugly little bugger here. It's a little Russian potato. They don't get much bigger than this. But they're heavy producers. So maybe I'll use this one. Now you can use whatever potato you want. I would suggest, if you are hard up and you need to get the best potato you can, the russet variety, which I don't think I see any in this bag. The russet variety are going to keep the longest for you. They're the most oh, here we go. We're in focus now. They're probably the best potato for survival purposes, but I don't like the taste of them. They're kind of blah. So I'm going to go with this little ugly little Russian potato, and I can't tell you the name of it. It's been good producer for me. Again, the potatoes don't get much bigger than 3 inches. So I'm going to go with this one for now. And you can see how it's chitted out. That's what you're going to look for. Now you can use a potato that hasn't chitted out, but there's a good chance that it may rot right in the ground in your bucket. Okay, so we're going to use this little guy here. So let's go on to the next thing you need. Okay, you'd use some sort of planting mix, some premium soil, compost material, something along those lines. Here's an, you know, for instance, for your bucket gardening. Now, this is expensive. This particular stuff is not. It's kind of on the cheap end. On the cheap end, for 2 cubic feet, I think this stuff runs about $7. Again, for that much, go buy yourself 15 pounds of potatoes, right? So I'm not going to use it. I'm kind of going to do this and be practical, and I'm going to be shoestring on this. So we're going to go out to the garden area, to the compost area, and we're going to get some dirt. We're going to use dirt in our bucket, not planting mix, not compost, not anything like that. So again, this is about food security. If you're worried about food security, go out there and buy 10, 15 pounds of potatoes, shoving them under the sink, shove them in the back closet. They're going to keep for 6 months. They're going to keep you fed. Do that. Now, otherwise, if you have some area, put them in the dirt. If you don't have some area, and you could steal some dirt from someplace and put it in a 5-gallon bucket, do that. Whatever it takes to make sure you have food. Make sure you have potatoes. So let's move on. All right, guys. So I don't have a compost pile. I have a compost area. I have an area that's about 20 feet, not 20, 15 feet by 30 feet long that I put leaves, grass clippings, and whatnot in. This is my compost area. Underneath all these leaves and garden waste and garbage is compost. So that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to dig down under this, and I'm going to throw it in this bucket, this wheelbarrow. That's what you call these things. This wheelbarrow, and I'm going to mix up the best I can find, and that's what we're going to put in our 5-gallon bucket. You see it's pretty rich looking stuff there. Some of it's still green, but pretty good planting medium. I don't think you can grow anything in one of those. All right, so then we have our potato. You want to put it in the direction the chits are growing. So they're, in this case, they're growing this way. So you want that up. So that will be up. Put that in the center. Hopefully it's in the shot. There it is. So that's it. Now I'm going to fill it up to the top. All right, so now I'm going to fill it within a couple inches of the top of the bucket. This is not an exact. And if you're higher than that couple inches, don't worry about it because this will compress over time. It's going to, as you water, the air is going to escape, and this will compress and get more compacted. At this point in time, I'm not going to water. The moisture is slightly above optimal. And that's a different video, but you can see I can actually squeeze. Grab another low here. I think I could squeeze moisture a drop out of this, so it's above optimal. So I won't put any more. I'm not going to water at this time. That's it. That's potatoes in a bucket. If you can afford to grow potatoes in a bucket, go buy potatoes. Don't do it. Go buy potatoes. I think potatoes should be grown in the ground unless you have no other option. If you're in an apartment or something and you want potatoes, yeah, definitely grow them in a bucket if you have to. But if you can afford to supplement soil to grow potatoes, you're better off spending that money buying a 15-pound bag of russet potatoes and sticking them under the counter or in the back closet or somewhere like that. They'll keep for 6 months. There, they may keep 120 days, no, 200 something days. Russet potatoes. Google it. Don't quote me. Google it. It's well over 200 days that russet potatoes will keep in ideal conditions. So I definitely go buy them. But if you have space, grow them outside. I'm not a proponent of growing potatoes in a bucket. I've done it. It's cool. It's neato. It's an extra. So guys, that's it.